So, hello everybody. I would like to give you a warm welcome to this session where we will explore how European SMEs can move from reactive crisis management to genuine preparedness, building systems that can anticipate shocks before they strike. And the background is, of course, our experiences from recent pandemics and natural disasters, and of course, from the ongoing war in Europe, in Ukraine. We also have a brand new report on SME preparedness that offers some lessons for future resilience. So the discussion will today examine what preparedness means in practice. As crisis becomes sort of the new normal, how can Europe ensure that its SMEs are not only surviving disruption, but can be prepared to lead recovery? So my name is Elisabeth Backman, and I'm the Director General of the Swedish Agency for Economic and Regional Growth, and I'm also the SME Envoy for Sweden. And of course, I'm very delighted to have the opportunity to moderate this session on this very important and relevant topic. But I'm not alone. With me, we have an excellent panel. We have Mr. Jan Hjelt, who is the SME Envoy from Finland. We have Andrea Mone, who is representing the European Economic and Social Committee. And we have Petri Salminen, who is President of SME United. And last but not least, we have Jakob Elleman Jensen, and you are the Executive Vice President for Digitalization, Consulting and Defense at the Danish Chamber of Commerce.
Awesome.
But first, let us meet by a recorded message from Kiev, Maria Alipatova, who is the CEO of Tova Industries in Ukraine.
Hello, SME Assembly 2025. My name is Maria Lipatova, but you can call me Masha. I'm CEO and co-founder of Tova Industry Startup, winner of Youth Startup Competition 2023, and PhD researcher in renewable energy. I really would love to be here with you offline in Copenhagen, but due to the huge overload at work and current war situation in Ukraine, I'm recording you the video from Kiev. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak to you today and tell you a little bit more about resilience. And this word became really personal for every Ukrainian entrepreneur. So you might ask me where I'm recording you this video from. We're in the bomb shelter currently, because at this moment in Kiev there is air raid alert of the Russian drone. And I was thinking to keep each of you safe, we will stay here in the bomb shelter. So what does Tova Industries do? We are the startup with a mission to become a multinational company which designs and develops solutions for industrial infrastructure and reduce electricity consumption for industry. Currently we have tested and validated product, Solar Optic, which is transmitting the sunlight inside the building during daytime. But on our pipeline we have few more products which we are currently validating, and we want that energy technologies won't just be the matter of comfort. This will be the matter of our energy efficient and sustainable future. When the full-scale innovation started, we, with a co-founder, just had an idea, just a spark in the mind of creating this solution. And after such a great schools as Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, Youth Startup Competition, EIT Jumpstarter, we had a really great and solid idea of how we will build the business in the future. And at the beginning of 2024, we established company in Ukraine, and since then we face different challenges on our way. Starting with the disruption from the supply chain, relocation of team members, mental breakdown of some of the team members. But we saw this not as the obstacles, but as the good lessons. And that circumstances lesson taught us how to be flexible and innovate very fast. So in order to find the way how to overcome the breakage from the supply chain, we found local suppliers from Ukraine and from the Eastern Europe. In this way, this helped us to reduce the delivery time to maximum 1 week and to create the circular economy within the country. What is more, we found a pivot for our technology. So as you can see, we're in the bomb shelter, and it is illuminated with artificial light. So we're thinking also to implement our technology of transmitting sunlight inside the building, also in the bomb shelters, because this kind of infrastructure is facing regular blackouts, and people don't have a possibility to stay with the light even during daytime. The only problem that we could not overcome over this time is fatigue of our team members. We are like workaholics, and even after like sleepless nights because of the drone attacks, of the rocket attacks, we feel fatigue, and this prevents us to work as hard as we wanted to cover our goal. So what kind of advices I can give to European entrepreneurs? I would advise you to think how to build the business if some kind of crisis will happen tomorrow. Sit with your team and think about what kind of partners do you need, how you will relocate your team, how you will relocate your production line if any kind of circumstances might happen tomorrow. I know this sounds scary, but we're living in times of uncertainty, so these questions currently should be asked. And I know that during this session, the report about SME preparedness for the crisis will be revealed, will be published. So I highly recommend you to invest your time, read it carefully, and digest this information with the team. So to summarize, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to share our story with you today. I'm really looking forward to see you all in peaceful times, and until then, let's build the future which cannot be destroyed. Thank you. Дякую.
So thank you so much, Maria, for that very clear and powerful message. Really a strong way to set the scene for our further discussions here today. And it's clear that the last few years, governments and businesses have had to think more seriously about preparedness. The agency that I lead has recently been appointed by the Swedish government to be a preparedness agency for key sectors such as manufacturing, retail, and construction. And as we are planning for this new role, it has been very valuable for us to be able to reach out to colleagues across Europe in order to get some inspiration. As part of the EU SME Envoy network, we have worked together with Finland to collect information about what member states and business organizations are doing to enhance preparedness in SMEs. And our report has been published on the Commission's website and is available for all of you. And that was the report that Maria was referring to in her speech. So to present some of the findings, I will leave the floor to Jan, SME Envoy for Finland, please.
Thank you, Elisabeth. To start with, like it's already been said, we have faced multiple crises in recent years. And we started to make a report on SME crisis preparedness, and this was prepared within the SME Envoy network. The questions we asked for report were simple. Are SMEs prepared to navigate the challenges ahead? To answer these, we collected responses from 20 member states and 15 business organizations. And our survey focuses on 4 main questions. What measures have been implemented or planned to improve preparedness? How do SMEs receive information, guidance, and training? And are there effective business networks to enhance communication during crises? And also, what lessons have been learned from past crises? The results are quite clear. 80% of the respondents consider SME crisis preparedness urgent or very urgent. COVID-19 was seen as a turning point that exposed significant weaknesses. Cybersecurity and climate adaptation emerge as top priorities nowadays. However, challenges remain. Limited resources, low risk awareness, and fragmented guidance make it difficult for SMEs to act proactively. The report raises out 9 recommendations that are input from these member state and business organization answers. They are not just for SMEs, they are for everyone involved in building resilience. First, the trust is the foundation of any successful crisis response. SMEs need to feel confident that authorities will support them fairly and transparently. Secondly, digital systems are backbone of any modern businesses. Government and businesses should invest in these systems. Regular testing and training are essential to keep these systems reliable under pressure. Thirdly, today guidance is scattered across multiple platforms. We recommend creating centralized digital hubs that provide clear and up-to-date information. 4. Digital tools are powerful, but they can also fail. That's why we need backup channels, printed guides, emergency radio frequencies, and even mailed preparedness booklets can be a good idea. 5. SMEs need access to training and advisory services, and they should be affordable and practical. 6. Every crisis teaches us something. We must analyze what worked and what didn't work, and what might or should be done differently. 7. No SME should face a crisis alone. Local networks enable knowledge sharing and joint simulation. 8. What gets measured gets managed. Regular assessments help identify gaps and guide also policy. And 9, at last but not least, crises do not respect borders, and neither should solutions. Sharing best practices across EU and beyond will strengthen the entire European economy. So, as we move forward, we should adopt whole society approach. Resilience should be a part of everyday business operations, and collaboration between public and business organizations is essential. And finally, continued improvement through monitoring and feedback will help us stay ready for next challenges. To conclude, SME crisis preparedness is not just about safety. It's about economic stability and competitiveness. By working together, we can build a stronger, more resilient Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Jan. I was thinking maybe if you could say something more about the whole society approach. What can be done to really include businesses in the whole society approach when it comes to resilience? I know you have a lot of experience from Finland. Maybe you can say something brief from your perspective.
Yeah, in general in Finland, we can see it like in 3 layers. We have legislative layer, so something that is mandatory. And nowadays we have also something coming from EU, but anyways, you have something that is mandatory. Then we have a contractual layer. So we make contracts with business of some stockpiling or different kind of things that is not normal business anymore. And then we have a voluntary level, which is, we call it the diamond of our model maybe, but we have these different sectors and pools that we have. That there is over 1,500 companies that on voluntary basis gather around a pool and rehearse and think about what could go wrong and what should do then, and then we get feedback from that. So that's one way of looking at it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We will hear more from you a bit later when we discuss. So next we will hear from Andrea Mone from the European Economic and Social Committee, who has worked on a so-called opinion from the committee about resilient and competitive value chains in an uncertain and geopolitically fragmented context. And it's the topic that goes to heart of the discussion we are having here today. So please, Andrea, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, and good morning to all. Allow me to briefly introduce the European Economic and Social Committee, which is one of the oldest EU body. It's an advisory body which represents European civil society organizations, so employees, employers, and civil society bodies, and provide opinion to European Commission, to Council, and also European Parliament. As we have been heard, the question now is not if the next crisis will happen, but how prepared we are when it does. So this is just the starting point of the opinion which I have the honor to draft by the ECC, and it's how to consider the policy making the global value chains. It argues that preparedness and competitiveness must go hand in hand, and they are part and parcel of the solution. And the key of both lies in how we understand and manage the supply chain. So I would like just to share with you 3 main messages of the opinion, which I think are essential and maybe useful to enhance a culture of preparedness. So the first is that resilience begins with knowledge. In the opinion, we call you to adopt a value change-based approach, which means that before any regulation is adopted, we must understand the impact of this regulation on supply chain, on the ecosystem, and on the SMEs nature. So mapping industrial ecosystem, mapping regional and dependencies or bottlenecks are not academic exercise, but are very, very important in order to see where the crisis will hit hardest, and how to respond quickly to them. So it's really important for us mapping, so observatories, forum, and any mechanism which allow us to identify the bottlenecks and the effect of the crisis on the value chain. The second is that preparedness require stronger and more innovative cooperation, because as we know, the SMEs do not operate in isolation. There are part of the network, which implied also the local communities and other startup and other things. So for us, it's important to transform the industrial cluster in entrepreneurial innovation ecosystem. This is important, and we in the opinion, we advanced some measure like collaboration between SMEs and research, or promoting the startups and founding, for instance, the cohesion fund in order to promote the infrastructure, digital and logistic for the supporting of SMEs in participating in the value chain. For us, it's really important in order to have this kind of broader collaboration in the ecosystem. And the third and final is the autonomy and the sustainability of the value chain, because it's important due of our dependency that expose our economy to from one side to try to reshore and friendshore key part of the value chain, but also to invest in the international agreements with partners that share our value, our vision. And this is important also in terms of social aspect, because we have to adapt the international landscape to the social, also the social question and issue that it arises. So for us, it's important that the preparedness is not an issue in itself, but it's a social project. So it's important to involve all the social partners and civil society in all the mechanism, in all the implementation, and also in the monitoring of this mechanism, because it's useful to involve them and to not impose any mechanism without any involvement of social partner. But for just to conclude, the importance for us is to pass from a reactive crisis management approach to a sort of proactive value chain resilience approach, and which means to invest in innovation, technology, cooperation, and autonomy. This is the main I think issue of our opinion that I would like to share with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So could I just ask you a question? If you could decide what would be the most important decision for the EU, that the EU could take in order to make the Union better prepared for different kinds of crisis solutions, what would be, are there sort of a key decision that you would like to see?
Yes, probably the assessment. So to incorporate in the EU governance this mechanism of EU value chains approach. So because it's important to know what's happened when a regulation is adopted. It is important also in the other issue, like for instance the industrial policy, because it's the incorporation of a sort of mechanism to identify the bottlenecks and also also the consequence of the regional aspect of the adoption of EU legislation in the regional or at local level. It's important also in order to have a sort of EU industrial resilience pact, because it's for us it's really important to have this in mind. But that if we understand what's happened also on the ground and not just in the policy making, we probably will have success in also to make it sustainable when it comes to the reality. So maybe a sort of reality check when we adopt a regulation could be very important for the EU.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we know that business organizations are really crucial for reaching out to small and medium-sized businesses. And from our report, we found that there is a great variety of how prepared SMEs are across Europe. So I will now invite Petri Salminen, who is the president of SME United. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and I'm gonna take this exercise because being in a good physical shape is also part of being prepared. So, and now you are gonna hear something about the state of mental health, but you will be able to judge that afterwards, after a few minutes. But first of all, I have to thank previous speakers and of course Maria for the powerful messages. I can echo all the points basically that has been raised. Just to set the scene a bit. First of all, Elizabeth asked about the whole of society approach in Finland. Being from Finland myself as well, I can say that the whole idea of being prepared and the whole of society approach is based on the fact that people are willing to defend their country, are willing to defend Europe, because that gives the tools to for being prepared. And in Finland, it's willingness to defend your country among the people. In Finland, it's somewhere around, more than 80%, 80 to 90%. So it's very high. And why I'm saying this? If we should lose the sense of security in Europe and within entrepreneurs, SMEs in Europe, then we would start to hear loud criticism towards the societies, the countries, towards politicians that we are dealing with and living with. And that would start to crumble the unity of people. So I would say that the wishful thinking to be prepared and to stay safe, well, although coming from the land of Santa Claus, still I say that wishful thinking belongs to Christmas, not to being prepared. So preparedness is all about being aware. And when I have three topics or points that I want to raise. First of all, public awareness and preparedness. As we've heard, it's crucial for the public, the countries, societies to realize and recognize, being aware of the critical role of SMEs in building resilient societies. If we look at the sparsely populated areas at the border regions, for example, the role of small companies that employ 10, 15, 5 people is critical in creating jobs in that region or locally. If we should lose those, it would start to create criticism again, crumble the trust towards society. Then, of course, public societies should realize the SME's role in public procurement. How can we think small first also in public procurement, because that creates preparedness towards future, as we heard from Andrea stating as well. Then the business transfers. In Finland, 1/3 of the entrepreneurs are contemplating to move their business to successor within next 5 years. If they don't find someone to take over, there will be a lot of unemployment and a lot of critical companies that being lost. And of course, regionally, when we are doing regional preparedness plans in Finland, of course, the role of SMEs within those is critical and should be seen. Then, second point is SME awareness, that we published a position paper at SME United a year ago, and also a preparedness guide for entrepreneurs in Finland few months ago, 2 months ago. The most important thing is for SMEs and entrepreneurs to realize and to dig into the critical functions of your company. You need electricity, or you need fuel, or you need data, or how to secure the data that you have. Knowing the risks, you cannot eliminate, and you shouldn't be eliminating all the risks, but knowing the risks is all about being prepared. As we heard from Maria, for example, about the key personnel, the staff, how can you keep them motivated, health, and so on. And then the third point, the SME preparedness itself. Secure the critical functions that you have, and also, as we've heard from the previous speakers, it's crucial that we also understand the risk field, how diverse it is among Europe. For southern part, the natural disasters are more close than maybe for us in the north, but then again, we have been feeling quite closely the security threats, hybrid attacks. Well, we are seeing that all over Europe now, but still, and let's recognize this, the diverse field of risks altogether. But with these few thoughts, I thought to start my.
Thank you so much, Petri. So I will come back with some questions to you after Jakob has done your presentation. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm going to climb this thing as well. I used to be in politics, so I feel very confident behind one of these. Welcome to Copenhagen. In Copenhagen, resilience is mainly about bringing an umbrella. My name is Jakob Ellemann. I am, as the board says, EVP at the Danish Chamber of Commerce. It's a very long title. My business cards are shorter than that. In the Danish Chamber of Commerce, we represent more than 18,000 Danish companies, from tech startups, consultants, to manufacturers, to defense suppliers, basically anything. Our mission is very simple: to make Denmark and to make Europe the best place to do business. That also means helping companies prepare for the unexpected, because we all know by now the unexpected keeps happening. To quote the great American philosopher Donald Rumsfeld, there are the known knowns. This is very philosophical. There are the known unknowns, and there are the unknown unknowns. The latter ones visit us more and more regularly these times. We met before with Maria in Kiev. She explains it better than anyone. When you see a shelter in Kiev and the reasons for being there, things become very clear. When you have to explain it to somebody in a Danish daily life, I have an example that I usually use. Imagine that a crisis strikes. The power is out, traffic is chaos, chaos sets in, the telephones are out. And I usually ask people, do you have an agreement in your household? Who picks up the kids? And how? We have a plan for that. And usually when you use that example to people, things get very close, and you should think of your business in the absolute same way. Over the past few years, we've faced pandemics, war, energy crisis, cyber attacks, Drone attacks in Copenhagen rather recently, sometimes all of this at once. We've also seen that preparedness isn't just about surviving, it's about staying competitive. It's about creating opportunities, also, or maybe especially in uncertain times. Crisis often carries certain positive elements. They offer us perspectives on the challenges that lies ahead. SMEs are at the heart of this. They are the backbone of Europe's economy and increasingly the backbone of Europe's resilience. In Denmark, many small companies are doing amazing things. They are strengthening the supply chains, developing dual-use technologies, and helping both our defense and our civil sectors become even more robust. That's why we've built a defense and security network, a community where the Danish SMEs can share ideas, they can partner up, they can navigate the complex world of security and preparedness. Because we start at another point than you do in Finland. We are not as aware, we are not as prepared, but we are learning from you guys. Because when business and government work together, resilience stops being a buzzword and it becomes something real. At the European level, we're trying to push for the same thing. Fewer barriers, faster procedures, better access for SMEs to funding and to partnerships. The Defence Readiness Omnibus is a great example of this, but it only works if it reaches the business, the factory, and the entrepreneur with a big idea and a small team. So my message today is basically very simple. Preparedness is also about competitiveness. Here, there is no doubt we need to focus greatly on European competitiveness. In the end, resilient companies are the ones that innovate, grow, that hire people, even when times are tough. Maria is a good example. Let's be honest, no one does more with less than the European SMEs. So if we give them the right tools, the right trust, they'll not only survive the next crisis, they'll build the next breakthrough. So thank you with these opening remarks. I'm looking very much forward to the discussion. I will leave this chair alone. Thank you.
So thank you very much for that. I was thinking a little bit about what Maria said on the recorded movie here. I heard from her that being prepared in a company, it's very much about leadership. It's about the leader bringing his or her team together to discuss the hard and scary questions about what to do. As you had a very good example when who's going to pick up the kids and how do we communicate. But going back to the business case here, from your experience, Jakob and Petri, do you think that the questions about preparedness, they on the management leaders' agenda in the boardrooms now, or have we more to do that in order for the leaders to be leader?
Yeah, for instance, for starters, there are not that many boardrooms at the SMEs, but definitely it's on the agenda. We've not only seen but experienced so many different situations, so many crises already during the last few years, and seeing the insecurity around us all the time. So, and of course, even when I started as an entrepreneur 20 plus years ago, we did risk mapping, what could go wrong. But I think it's more than ever on our agenda. Then again, entrepreneurs tend to be risk takers. So what does the contemplation leads to? But maybe I would just add that the most important thing is to recognize the critical things to be taken care of.
I think, as I mentioned before, I think it's a great gift for a country as ours that Finland has entered NATO. Thank you, by the way. And there are many things that we could learn from a country that has been neighbor to Russia forever and has beaten them on several occasions. And one is this reality of things. Because I think in Denmark we have de-learned this over the past decades. We thought that security, peace, prosperity is something that comes with some kind of law of nature, and it doesn't. It comes because we fight for it, because we are ready to protect it, if necessary, with our lives. And there are some things in this that we need to relearn. And I think in many Danish companies, this is something that has, since the full-scale invasion in 22, this is something that we are gradually learning again, but we are not quite there. I think in many Danish companies there is this sense of urgency, but some confusion as to where to begin. We want to do something about this. We know that our cyber preparedness is not quite where it should be, but where to begin? What are we going to do about it? And this is also something, a line that I hear many times is, oh, we need to do something about this. We'll start next week. And it is something that is pushed forward. It is recognized, yes, but it is not really tampered with in every boardroom, or as you say, well, there are not many boardrooms in the SMEs, but with management
teams. Interesting. So, in order to find out how to start, how to do it, I guess there are some shared practices. So, what do you say? How do organizations and businesses share their best practices with each other? Are there guides, common platforms, where to go in order to find written information or someone to call and interconnect with?
It's a fun thing to see, because you can see this change of attitude with our members. We have 18,000 members. I think if we just a few years ago had made a meeting where we said, okay, we're going to talk about preparedness, we're going to talk about resilience, and people will say, oh, enjoy, have a nice meeting. And very few would turn up. Now, when we have these sort of meetings, we have a waiting list, because people want to attend. Because, as I said, they want to know where to begin. They want to have this checklist. And of course, we are business associations. So yes, we have these training activities. We have the possibility to exchange information, to exchange knowledge on this, because that is very important. And also to hear from those who got attacked. Those who had something go wrong in their pipelines, those who faced a cyber attack, not just the big companies, but especially the small companies, where you can see, oh, somebody who looks just like us actually experienced this. And they are more than willing to share this. You would imagine that they would be a bit embarrassed, oh, we got shut down. But they're actually very willing to share, and there's a good buy-in on this.
Makes me think about, we have some local authorities in Sweden that was hit by cyber attacks, and one of them opened up and shared their experiences. It was so much appreciated from the other local authorities in order to be able to learn and to be better prepared. So sharing is really necessary. I was thinking about Jan and Andrea. What has come to your mind listening to Petri and Jakob and each other? Is there something that you would like to reflect on?
I can maybe start. I was thinking about the Finnish system. So we have these, on the core of the Finnish system, there is 20 pools that are from different business sectors. So if we take something like maybe telecommunication or something like that, so there is few companies. Maybe that's maybe not a good example, because there is so few companies, but anyway, so they gather up and rehearse, and actually from that we have found out that okay, actually in these situations then a lot of trees fell off and electricity went down. Also, the phone masts go down. So you don't have in that area that you have to go and prepare the electricity lines, so the electricity men don't have phones. So it's really kind of slow. So from that kind of rehearsal or exercise, now we have planned to put kind of batteries or something like that. So these kind of situations, they would have an emergency kind of cell phones, and maybe that's one point that when you take the companies in and start to stimulate the training and activities, you should also do that the solutions rise from that kind of immediately, not like next government's term or something like that, but and in Finland we have a national supply emergency agency which has a own budget that is actually cut from the political budget, or not so much nowadays, but it has been. So they can kind of right away start funding these kind of things, that okay, we see that there is something you have to fix. But all the companies know what are the critical issues for each sector. So you have to learn from them and then decide how you get it to legislation or financing or what the issue is.
Well, I mean, being prepared, having alternative locations for your team, for your production, for alternative cell phones, etc., etc. It sounds a bit costly, maybe. So, and from Sweden, I can share we have a discussion. Well, what should the public authorities do, and what is the responsibility for the enterprises? So how can we sort of calibrate or strike the right balance between what public authorities should do and what private companies should do for preparedness? Petri.
I have to share a quote with you from our preparedness guide to entrepreneurs, because one entrepreneur said there that risk that is taken care of beforehand is much cheaper than even well-sorted accident. And that's maybe the idea behind all of this, that you are being aware of the risks and how to tackle the situation if something should happen. But maybe, I fully agree that SMEs don't have the resources to keep stock everything in company, and that of course is not even intended. Yeah.
Thank you, Jakob.
Two things on this. I think, first of all, preparedness is also part of the competition. It's a competitive advantage. When I buy a car that has airbags, has side protection systems and so on, because then I feel better prepared when I move into traffic, not because I'm a bad driver, I'm a wonderful driver, but maybe there's an idiot on the road. And you can say the same for your business. You don't know what will hit you. And the second thing is, yes, there needs to be this distinction on what is the government's role, what is the role of private enterprise. And I think one thing that may have gotten us a bit on the wrong foot during the handling of COVID is that we learned a lot from COVID. We learned that things will shut down on a rather short notice. But one thing that we need to unlearn is that government will come and help us. And if the power shuts down and the phone shuts down and so on, government will not come and help you, because they're busy running the country. They're busy making sure that people don't die in the hospitals and so on. So you're on your own. And we need to practice that. And therefore exercise is always the best approach. But there are so many things that we can do with the private help to government as well. In Denmark, good companies took into their own, you could say, job to create this community where you can actually chip in and say, we have this capacity, we have lifting capacity, we have boats, we have helicopters, we have whatever sort of resources. That was a private initiative based on, and those of you from Finland and Sweden may laugh at this, but we had a snowstorm a few years ago in Denmark, and everything stopped because we had 2 centimeters of snow everywhere. So people were parked on the freeway in Jutland for more than 24 hours. True story. And somebody thought, okay, why did nobody go out there with a four-wheel drive? Why didn't anybody take their Land Rover or anything out there and pulled out those cars? Because the deals were not made on beforehand. So now we have this virksomhedsberedskab in Danish, where companies chip in and say, if and when the situation occurs, we are going to bid in with all of these competencies that we have. So it's a strong partnership where the government side is command and control, and the private side is basically everything else. So that sort of sets the barriers on who does what.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Andrea, I would like to hear what's on your mind when listening to all this.
Very briefly, because I think it's clear also, but the intervention has been said that the preparedness is not just a risk management or corporate governance issue as it is. It's more than that. It's a sort of societal issue. So we need to share the responsibility, because it affects also the local communities. So it's important to have a kind of network and try to also to involve all the stakeholders, which are part and parcel of the solution of to make more prepare to the future. So I think what is clear that we need to share the responsibilities and so involve all the social partners, for instance, when it comes to the corporate governance mechanism, in order to be prepared, really prepared. And then there is an issue of the EU that is the one that I have underlined before in terms of procedures, and all the mechanism that could be enhance also the SME in being more prepared to the future.
Thank you. Makes me think about what Friederike Welter was talking about yesterday. She had a lecture, Schumpeter lecture, and she was talking about the everyday entrepreneurs and different aspect of being an everyday entrepreneur. And one aspect and one value is being part of a really local community, society, and that there are more values than economic values to being an entrepreneur. You have a role in your area where you have your enterprise, your business, and what that could mean in different in peace, in a crisis, a bigger societal crisis, and also in war. So I think that's very important to, as you are referring to, including the whole society, different actors into preparedness and resilience. Now we have like 6 minutes left until 1 o'clock, and I was just wondering whether there are any questions in the audience, and we have one here in the front row. We have a microphone coming.
Tamara Galkina, professor in entrepreneurship, Aalto University, Finland. And first of all, thank you, the panelists, for insightful ideas, conversation. I'm a researcher, so I made notes here. So I want to tell you what I have. So I have 2 columns. The first one, resilience, preparedness, being careful, planning, writing scenarios, anxiety and paranoia. On the other side, I have trying, daring, acting boldly, experimenting, entrepreneurial spirit. So you can see that I'm talking about 2 very different mindsets. And this is an SME Assembly. So if we go into the heads of those entrepreneurs who already have their businesses and those who are only thinking to start their businesses, how can they balance these 2 rather than freezing and thinking, oh God, I better not do anything? Because once you're punched to your face, you freeze, you don't do anything. You first of all try to stop and think, okay, what's next? or even moving to another place on this globe and start business elsewhere outside EU?
Two hands in the air. Petri, you go first.
I think when you draw a circle around those two columns, you get a head title, resilience. Being prepared, but also taking the risks, taking the initiatives, and that's also everything that's being an entrepreneur. But beautifully collected two columns, I have to say.
Okay, I know that you also want to respond to this, but we have two more questions. So I leave the word to the lady in the back. If you raise your arm. Yeah.
Thank you. Anna Maria Magri, Ascent Consulting in Malta. So I'm coming from a small island, let's say at the periphery of Europe, maybe where the feeling of need for preparedness for this kind of situation is somehow more muted than in Northern, Eastern Europe. And I think it's important that we try to make sure that everyone across Europe is aware of this, because the hybrid wars of today, not even of the future, are not necessarily only restricted there. And there is a certain false sense of safety at the margins. So I agree with you that there is a need for this kind of wider societal approach, wider approach across Europe, maybe the ones that are more aware, more prepared, more resilient, to really have those kind of pools of trainers, of advisors, of mentors to replicate and to try to support in other areas. That's just one comment. And something else, I'm also involved in a project on cybersecurity literacy, together with 3 Ukrainian partners and German partners and Austrian, and then some Southern, Maltese, German, Greek, and so on. And I think it's also important, especially that SMEs include a lot of self-employed and micro-enterprises. The base of the pyramid in those numbers are self-employed, to try to make sure that we really go up from the grassroots. Because when the panic comes in, it's very difficult to handle things rationally unless we prepare well in advance. And more education, more training, more awareness in each and every organization really needs to happen, and not tomorrow, but yesterday or today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're touching upon what was already mentioned here, I guess, about the willingness to stand up for the values, whether it's within an enterprise or within the society, in order to have the resilience and have the willing to fight, so to speak. Andrea, do you want to reflect on something on this?
Yes, I agree with the fact that, you know, now we are confronting with a very broad meaning of the security. We are not just the physical security, but the hybrid war. It's in front of us. So the importance of the preparedness and resilience is to adapt also the mechanism in which we would like to prepare to this new form of security, so economic and also social and other things. So it's important to adapt also the spectrum of preparedness with the new spectrum of security that we have in Europe. And it's important also, in order to be prepared to share. I repeat this item because to me it's really important also at EU level, in order that all the member states are aware of all the issue concerning the preparedness and also the security. Each and every country has its own maybe problem and bottlenecks, but I think that there are trends that could be managed in a European way, and it will be very important to assess this at European level and then at national level. So it's really important to also to put in line all the member states on this issue. Yep.
Thank you very much. I know that there are more questions in the audience, but take the opportunity to talk to each other, and maybe the panelists have the possibility to stay on for a minute or two after we wrap this session up, which is time to do now. I thank you so much for your attention, for being here, for being active when it comes to preparedness and resilience connected to SMEs. There are a lot of takeaways to take away from this session. I take away with me, which I've heard very strongly from Maria, the question about leadership. If we are going to act now, it's about leadership, and we can all be leaders. It's not just the formally appointed leaders. We can all be leaders and start inventing, look into what values we have that we really like to protect, because they're crucial to us, to our company, to our society, because those are the values that we have to guard and fight for, and we have to make sure that we have alternatives if the value chains break down. I also realized that this is a topic that it's unfortunately is likely to stay on for quite some years to come, and that we have to prepare better, both in the north, south, west and east part of Europe, for natural disasters. It's not only things that are happening in the south, and cybersecurity threats are happening all over Europe, all over the world. And unfortunately, I think we have to be prepared that war is not just happening in the eastern part of Europe, in Ukraine. It could also be happening in other parts of Europe. So we will have reasons to come back to this discussion. So take these questions with you wherever you're going. And SMEs are really crucial. So what we can do in order to really have the whole society approach. How can the public, how can the companies, whether they're small or whether they're a bit larger, interact in order to make the society more resilient? Before I leave you, let you go, I have a message from the hosting team, and they invite you to visit the Ideas Lounge, which is in the main foyer outside the lounge area, where they will be harvesting your ideas. So do you have ideas on how to strengthening SMEs competitiveness across Europe? You're welcome to go there and discuss with them, and they will collect your ideas and take it with them to the EU Commission, to different local and national decision makers. So that's a great opportunity for you all to share your ideas. So with that, let me thank the speakers. Thanks for excellent speeches and reflections and answers. And I also would like to thank the audience for being here, for listening, for asking questions, to thinking about these questions. And thank you, and let's be careful out there. Thank you.